Today I'm going to show you an inexpensive and effective way to bypass your heater core. If you're smelling coolant when you turn the heater on, that's an indication that the heater core is leaking inside your dash. Well, this isn't necessarily a fix because after we do this, your heater, well, it won't work at all. But what this will do is it'll keep coolant from leaking into your dash, and it'll keep the smell of antifreeze out of the cab and out of your lungs, and it will buy you enough time to figure out how to replace the heater core yourself. Okay, so this is representational of what we'll be doing in the Jeep to bypass our heater core. Never mind the nails, they have nothing to do with this job. They're just there to keep my hose connectors from rolling away. Alright, so your heater core inlet hose is a 3/4 inch ID most likely, sometimes 11/16. Your outlet hose has a 3/8 ID. We'll be bypassing the heater core using this elbow, 180 degree elbow. And then to connect it, we're going to need these hose connectors. So here's a 3/4 inch to 3/4 inch ID connector, and here's an adapter connector, 3/8 inch ID to 1/4 inch ID. Alright, that's a basic rundown of what we'll be doing in the Jeep. Alright, so we're looking at our heater hoses, and I was originally going to put that 180 degree elbow right there instead of putting it all the way at the back where the hoses go into the heater core. Then I started looking at it, and right here I actually have this really nice bracket that holds everything in place. So I think what I'll do is cut these hoses just past it, and then I'll run that 180 degree elbow right there where it will be held securely in place. I've taken 2 pairs of vice grips and clamped the hoses shut. I put a cloth over them to keep the teeth from tearing them up too much, and I did this so I don't lose any fluid that I don't have to. Alright, now we're ready to put in our hose connectors. That was our 3/8 ID to 3/4 inch ID. Alright, now we're ready for elbow. Alright, and there we have our elbow in place. Now I'm ready to put on the hose clamps. So I have that elbow tightened up and back in place. All my cables are back. Now what I've done here is I've taken my blowgun and I've clamped the nozzle into the tube that I cut that goes into the heater core. And I'm going to do this to flush it out before I take the hoses off. So if we look down here, hopefully we can see. Hang on a second. There we go. Hopefully we can see. Anyway, so blowing compressed air through your heater core works pretty good for clearing it out. You could flush it with water too, but because I'm going to be leaving this disconnected for a little while, I'd rather just have it dry. And then I'll buy some rubber plugs at the hardware store and cap the ports that the hoses go into. I have the old heater hose taken off now and moved out of the way. This is what our bypass looks like, all finished up and tightened down. This is your factory bracket that holds the tubes. So I'm glad I decided to use that instead of putting the 180-degree elbow over here. Alright, well the next step is to fire it up and check for leaks. No leaks. Hey guys, this is Tim with BleepinJeep.com. In this how-to video I misspoke a little bit. I kept referring to your heater core outlet hose as a 3/8 ID. If you're working on a Jeep Cherokee, it's probably a 5/8 ID actually. That isn't very important though to the how-to aspect of this video. If you're going to be doing this heater core bypass, you're going to have to determine your hose ID anyways, regardless of the vehicle. So keep that in mind. Another thing I wanted to touch on, the reason we're using the preformed elbow is because if you take a regular piece of heater hose and you try to bend it that tight, it's going to kink, shutting off your coolant flow. That's why I chose to use a preformed 180-degree elbow. Please excuse my verbal mess up. We really appreciate you guys watching. Hopefully this video will be useful to you.